Welcome back. Well, this is not going to be one of our ordinary videos because there is something new on the horizon. You're certainly going to hear about it very soon, so I thought we really ought to take a look at this so that you understand the situation in as far as I am able to interpret it for you. So, when we come back. What I'm about to read to you is called the Great Barrington Declaration. And before I actually read the declaration, I'm going to skip to the last page and read you the information about when it was drafted and who drafted it. So, on October 4th, 2020, this declaration was authorized and signed in Great Barrington, United States by Dr. Martin Kulldorff, professor of medicine at Harvard University and biostatistician and epidemiologist with expertise in detecting and monitoring of infectious disease outbreaks and vaccine safety evaluations. Dr. Sunitra Gupta, professor at Oxford University, an epidemiologist with expertise in immunology, vaccine development, and mathematical modeling of infectious diseases. Dr. J. Bhattacharya, professor at Stanford University Medical School, a physician epidemiologist, health economist, and public health policy expert focusing on infectious diseases and vulnerable populations. So, these are not crackpots. Great Barrington's in Massachusetts. I should probably point that out because nobody else seems to. It's in the southwest corner in the area of Massachusetts that butts up against New York to the west and Connecticut to the south. And apparently that's where they got together. Now, here is the declaration. As infectious disease epidemiologists and public health scientists, we have grave concerns about the damaging physical and mental health impacts of the prevailing COVID-19 policies and recommend an approach we call focused protection. Coming from both the left and the right, and around the world, we have devoted our careers to protecting people. Current lockdown policies are producing devastating effects on short and long-term public health. The results, to name a few, include lower childhood vaccination rates, worsening cardiovascular disease outcomes, fewer cancer screenings, and deteriorating mental health, leading to greater excess mortality in years to come, with the working class and younger members of society carrying the heaviest burden. Keeping students out of school is a grave injustice. Keeping these measures in place until a vaccine is available will cause irreparable damage, with the underprivileged disproportionately harmed. Fortunately, our understanding of the virus is growing. We know that vulnerability to death from COVID-19 is more than 1,000-fold higher in the old and infirm than the young. Indeed, for children, COVID-19 is less dangerous than many other harms, including influenza. As immunity builds in the population, the risk of infection to all, including the vulnerable, falls. We know that all populations will eventually reach herd immunity, i.e., the point at which the rate of new infections is stable, and that this can be assisted by but is not dependent upon a vaccine. Our goal should therefore be to minimize mortality and social harm until we reach herd immunity. The most compassionate approach that balances the risk and benefits of reaching herd immunity is to allow those who are at minimal risk of death to live their lives normally, to build up immunity to the virus through natural infection while better protecting those who are at the highest risk. We call this focused protection. Adopting measures to protect the vulnerable should be the central aim of public health responses to COVID-19. By way of example, nursing homes should use staff with acquired immunity and perform regular PCR testing of other staff and all visitors. Staff rotations should be minimized. Retired people living at home should have their groceries and other essentials delivered to their home. When possible, they should meet family members outside rather than inside. A comprehensive and detailed list of measures, including approaches to multi-generational households, can be implemented and is well within the scope and capability of public health professionals. Those who are not vulnerable should immediately be allowed to resume life as normal. Simple hygiene measures, such as hand washing and staying home when sick, should be practiced by everyone to reduce the herd immunity threshold. Schools and universities should be open for in-person teaching. Extracurricular activities, such as sports, should be resumed. Young, low-risk adults should work normally rather than from home. Restaurants and other businesses should open. Arts, music, sport, and other cultural activities should resume. People who are more at risk may participate if they wish, while society as a whole enjoys the protection conferred upon the vulnerable by those who have built up herd immunity. So far, and by so far the numbers are changing like minute by minute. This declaration has been signed by over 6,000 medical and public health scientists, over 12,000 medical practitioners, and over 169,000 members of the general public. If you want to read this, of course, I just read it to you. I will put up the name of the website here below, being right there, and I will put a link in the comments. I think this is something that we need to throw out there, because what is happening at this point is the medical community is now saying that the consequences of a lockdown are greater than the consequences of living our lives as normal, letting some of us, those of us who are strong and can cope, let some of us catch the virus. Remember, they estimate as much as 50% of the population will be completely asymptomatic. And as I have mentioned to you before, I very well may be one of those people. I don't know yet. I'm still on my list waiting for the testing. But that may be where I got the Bell's palsy from, because Bell's palsy sets in after a viral infection. And I have been asymptomatic. So it's possible, yes. Up to 50% of those who catch the virus will be asymptomatic. The only thing that will happen to that 50% of the population is going to be that they will eventually have an immunity that helps others. Now, granted, in the meantime, while they are infectious, and they will not know that they are, they could be passing the virus onto others. That's one of the unfortunate things about this virus. But the medical professionals are saying herd immunity is the answer. Now, for those of you, by the way, I can do the I told you so on this one, because I've been saying from the beginning what we need is herd immunity. That is the only way we have conquered major outbreaks in the past. That is what we need to do now. As I was reading through that, there were some things I was not aware of. People are not vaccinating their children. And we're not just talking about, the anti-vax people who don't believe in vaccines, or I'm not sure if it's a religious belief. It sort of has the zealotry of a religious belief, so it might be. But people are not vaccinating their children, not for COVID-19. We don't have a vaccine, but they're not getting their kids flu shots. They're not getting them polio vaccinations. They're not getting them vaccinated against measles, chickenpox, whatever, diphtheria, the diptat. Yeah, they're not doing that. And of course, with everyone on lockdown, they're right. The consequential results are that people are not getting proper medical care. What can you say? They are staying within their wheelhouse. These are doctors and medical scientists. All they are talking about is the health impacts and the social impacts as they impact people's health. They are not talking about things like the economic impact, and that was one of the things we had discussed. If we continue the way we are, well, we can't indefinitely. We are certainly heading for a global depression, the likes of which we have not seen since the 1930s. And I didn't live through that, thank you very much. My grandparents did. I grew up on their stories of the Great Depression. What I did live through was the Rhode Island banking crisis of 1991. A third of all Rhode Islanders had their banks shut down on New Year's Day in 1991. And I can remember what that was like. And that wasn't even everybody impacted. That was a third of Rhode Islanders impacted. People have money in the bank one day and a locked door the next day. Very scary stuff, let me tell you. I was one of the people whose bank was shut down. So, whoa, not looking forward to that in the future. That kind of economic chaos can destroy lives. Literally destroy lives. So, we don't want to go back there again. As it stands, I think we are in for economic hard times because our economy in the United States was shut down for 2 months. Come on. That is like 12% of our gross national product just taken out and thrown in the trash. It's going to be very hard to recover from that. And if we continue the way we are going, remember, it is the lowest economic level of society that is the hardest impacted. The people who work in restaurants, car washes, movie theaters. We are not talking about doctors and lawyers who are going to end up losing their livelihoods. We are talking about the front lines economically. And it's going to be rough. So, that is what the Great Barrington Declaration says. I think they framed it in a way that everybody can understand. Essentially, they are looking to get our country back to normal for those of us, and here's the caveat, for those of us who are not at risk. They are not saying that we should not protect the vulnerable population. Not at all. They are saying the vulnerable population stays on self-imposed quarantine. If you need to be at home, if you need not to be out in the public at risk, then stay home. But the rest of us with low, minimal risks should get back to life as usual. Now, obviously, you're going to hear about this because whenever a large group of scientists gets together and throws this out, and please remember, these are the people, these medical scientists and epidemiologists, biostatisticians, these are the people who provide the information that our political leaders use to make decisions. So we're getting it too. In other words, they're not just saying, oh, I'll wait till I see the president behind closed doors. They're throwing it out to the public, which is great, because I think we really do need some transparency. And as I say, these are not nutcases. These are not crazy people. These are people with PhDs in fields I can't even pronounce. Thank you very much. We're talking about the best and brightest. And this is what they are saying. Let's get back to normal. Okay, so I wanted to make sure you were clear about the declaration. I'm going to put a link in the comments. Like I say, I want you to be able to read it. I read it to you, but you don't have to trust me. Read it yourself. Hey, I'm blind. I can make mistakes. And I do. But take a look. You can go on and sign the petition if you would like. I have signed the petition, which should come as no surprise to any of you because I have been saying herd immunity is our best hope all along. So I'm very much in favor of this. I know it sounds crazy, but I want to see 70 or 80% of our population catch COVID-19, develop the antibodies, and then we will be protecting the 20% that can't afford to do so. It's just that simple. So I'm signing. Again, shouldn't be any surprise. Sign if you want. I'm not asking you to do this one way or another. I'm putting this out because I know you're going to hear about it. I know you're going to have opinions about it. I know you're going to have questions about it. And I want to make sure that you have some venue for expressing the concerns, the questions, etc. And that'll be this. If there's something that you didn't understand, if there's something that you want further research on, let me know. Because I think it was straightforward and clear, but of course they agree with my opinion, naturally I'm going to think it's straightforward and clear. It may not be to everyone else. So if there are things you want to see addressed, if there are questions you have, shoot the comments and we'll take care of it. We will look into this. We'll call those doctors if we have to, but we will get you that information. That is my promise to you. All right. So that's where we're at today. Let me just remind you that we have that giveaway of the peacock vase, and you can check back with yesterday's video. That would have been Friday's video. Take a look at the piece. We've got that going all this week. Tomorrow we are going to finish up our rug project, and in the meantime, let us enjoy our beautiful horizon pictures, get our moment of calm, ground ourselves, and remember, no matter how bad it looks out there, life is good. It's way better above ground than below. So I will see you all tomorrow. Have a very, very good day.